I come from wildflowers that grow out of stone walls, that border on cleared fields for pastures that exist no more. When I was a kid, those stone fences were our playgrounds, but I haven't walked along the top of them in years. I come from wildflowers who push up from old stone-lined foundations that bore the weight of wood farmhouses that exist no more. When I was a kid, my grandma would point out their silhouettes, but they haven't been standing for years. I think I'm one of the few who knew they were even there at all, and soon one of the few left who know still where to find them. My grandparents haven't been to the ancestral farm in years. Their sisters and their brothers and their cousins are growing old now too, and I'm starting to realize that if I don't absorb their tales, if I don't trace out a geographic map from their memories of the names of places that were once the core of the community but now barely exist, their stories might die with them. And I need to start now. I need to record the details of their lives on the farms and the towns of the hills, before it's too late, before those places and people and stories are. I come from wildflowers. When I was a kid, we used to make bouquets from the buttercups in the cow pasture. You can tell there used to be a farmhouse there, my mom once said, because of the lilies in bloom. I come from wildflowers. When I was a kid, my grandma gave me a bracelet that belonged to her mother, made of silver and engraved with a floral pattern. When I grew older, we cleared her drawers in our old farmhouse, and I found her beautiful, handcrafted tiger lily pin. I come from wildflowers. Sometimes a creak in the old farmhouse wakes me up before the dawn, and I'll sneak out into the crisp mountain air to watch the sunrise. I watch the dandelions and daisies unfold as the sun crawls over the horizon and bathes the hillside in first light. Sometimes, if I'm quiet enough, a cardinal will come and perch on the stone fence nearby. I come from wildflowers. Now that I'm older, I have learned to look more closely for the traces of the past that are usually hidden in plain sight. An indent at the edge of forests, or at the end of an old abandoned driveway. Rusty gates that lead to former roads, and remnants of mills on old creek beds. I come from wildflowers. Now that I'm older, I have learned to listen more closely to the stories of the ghosts of those who once sat on the porch. Look for clusters of apple trees and gardens of rhubarb. The wildflowers grow next to the stones that mark their graves. I come from wildflowers. Wildflowers that have pushed through dirt and stone for hundreds of years, and they still do, each spring. They still will. I just have to keep looking for them.